What's up, guys, and welcome back. It's been a while for the channel, but we've got a really good one today. I'm so thankful and grateful for this one. There's a few people in the PV community that I define as founders of the sport, and we're lucky to get Eric here from Shredlights today, one of the biggest impacts in the community, keeping everyone safe and just being involved in the community so much. So I'll bring Eric in, I'll let him introduce himself, and we're just having a short one today, so we'll get those questions in quick. We're not having a full hour, we're having a 45-minute session, and there's actually a reason why, so we're going to find out why that is, which is exciting stuff. But Eric's got only so much time, as I say, so whack in those questions, and we're going to learn a lot more about Shredlights and the journey and the impact in the community. So let's bring Eric in now. Senor Flash,
what's up?
What's up, Eric? Thank you so much for being on the channel. As I said in the introduction, I said there's a few people who I believe are the founders of this community and this sport, and if it wasn't for Shredlights and yourself in the community, then we'd have a very different community. So it's an absolute pleasure having you on the channel today. So for some reason, for anyone who doesn't know about Eric, yourself and the team at Shredlights, do you want to introduce yourself and how you're involved in the PEV community?
Yeah, well, thank you for the intro. I mean, I would say you could definitely take credit for being a founder of Eastgate as well. I mean, I remember first seeing your name on a Shredlights order like six years ago at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right there with us. It's been a great journey so far. Yeah, my name is Eric Birkmeyer. I live in San Diego, California. I'm one of the co-founders of Shredlights. We started in 2013, and it was basically a school project, and we kind of just stayed at it ever since and continued making cool lights with the support of the Eastgate community and now the broader PEV community. But it's been a super fun journey so far, and I'm excited to share more on the podcast today.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, there's some really cool stuff. And what I find really good about these podcasts is it's a really good opportunity to kind of know people about how people have gone along the journey then where they are now. And it's really good to get insight of different demographics. And it's my job as a host to do that dig in and find out some cool stuff. So hopefully we get some memories and along the journey about where we are with Shredlights now. But like I said, you've got some really interesting products coming out, and it's really interesting to see like the journey along there. So I would start from grassroots, like you say, school projects. So so you're a prolific skater, and that's the heritage, and a board, and looking in my homework, involved in extreme sports from the day one. So how did that come about, doing all these kind of out there things?
Definitely from my family. I have 3 older brothers, from the youngest of 4 boys, and we were just really action sports oriented growing up. So just seeing my brothers get into BMX and snowboarding and skating and all these different action sports, I just always wanted to be like them. So they kind of were the first ones to get a board under my feet, I guess. And we grew up in Minnesota, so we would snowboard all winter, and then in the summer skate as much as we could. And I kind of had a group of friends, and one of my friends, Alan, his mom, I would say, is one of the godmothers of my shredding experience. Shout out Stacy. She let us build an entire skate park in their basement.
Wow.
I'm really not joking. So she would take us to Home Depot with the credit card, and we would buy a bunch of wood. And at the time we were like 10, 12 years old, and we built mini ramps, ledges, all this different stuff to skate. So in the winter, we could keep skating. So then, she helped us be able to skate year round. Yeah, it was just hooked. I think I really just loved the challenge of skating, and yeah, I just had a ton of fun with friends doing it.
Because I was doing some digging along the way, and like I said, I find it really interesting, like the butterfly effect, like these people that you meet along the way and these relationships you build, and it kind of molds into, yourself, like livelihood and where you're here now, and kind of expanding through those events, being like building skating community and doing more and more of that. And like I said, Shredlights has always been a massive. Is that from yourself, or the other people in the team being massively engaged with the PV community about kind of supporting events, getting awareness, and the support has always been brilliant from Shredlights from day one?
Thanks. Yeah, that's been a huge part of our mission. That's, I've mainly been leading the community outreach, and honestly, it's really just been curiosity. Like when I first got into electric skateboarding, so Shredlights, we started trying to sell it to street skaters because that's what we were familiar with. And SoCal legend, shout out Joe W. He lived in
Definitely.
Oceanside, and we were down in San Diego, and we were super small at the time, maybe doing like 10 orders a month in a good month. And he hit us up and was like, "Yo, can I buy 6 sets of lights?" And so I was like, "Dang, like that's more than we usually sell in like a month. I should go meet up with the guy. He's nearby." And at the time, like I'd heard of electric skateboarding. I think we already had the boosted board, so we were somewhat into it. But then I went and met up with Joe, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, we're doing these group rides, all around Oceanside." And that's when I kind of first was like, "Oh, dang, this is like more than just buying a board and riding on your own. This is something that people want to do together." Um, you know, there's the skate park that you go to, and you can just show up, and random people will want to skate with you. But with this, I just thought it was like something you buy and ride from your house. So that kind of opened me up to like, oh, dang, a lot of people ride together. And that was in like 2016. So I just started attending the events, and every time I went, I just had a great experience. Everyone was super welcoming and friendly, and yeah, just great people all around. And I had so many questions about what boards they were riding, and their specs and all that kind of stuff, because I was pretty new to that. So they really answered all my questions, and yeah, just a super welcoming community from the beginning.
So my question is, obviously necessity kind of creates product through that. We have those demands, we organically make things more and more. So are you more proficient like night rider? Is that what kind of evolved with the whole concept of Shredlights, or like where you'd go out at night and think there's an opportunity, I need this product, and then there's that need to make the product with the Shredlights going forward?
Yeah, so little fun fact for the podcast. I actually was not the one to think of the idea for Shredlights or the name. So I was going to San Diego State in 2013. It was my freshman year. And I just really was trying to get involved on campus and try a bunch of different things. So I was joining all sorts of clubs and stuff. And I stumbled across the Entrepreneurship Center there. And I decided, hey, why don't I take a crack at this? So I tried starting my own company, which was selling like used Air Jordans online. And that was actually my first business in high school. I would go to thrift stores and find Air Jordans and sell them. So I was like, why don't I join, an entrepreneurship program here and see if I can make something of it. And in the meantime, it'd be cool to just learn some new skills. That didn't end up working out. And I was literally like walking out of, it was called the Zon Center, where you could go work on this. And I was walking out one day, and literally on the wall was a poster for Shredlights. And I'd been skating all around campus to and from my dorm. And like growing up in Minnesota, my friend Alan that I mentioned lived like a half-mile away. So I would longboard to and from his house all the time, before I caught. So I was really familiar with skating at night, and now is, getting around campus. So it was just like when I saw the idea for headlights on a skateboard, it immediately clicked with me. And I was like, that's awesome. Like not only from use case, but it's a really interesting business idea. So I emailed the founder and weaseled my way into the team, basically. I had the very first website, and for the next couple of years, we were really just trying to build the product. But yeah, the original founder, Drew, he was skating home from the liquor store, and he had just bought some beer on a regular skate in like 2012, and he hit a crack and fell, and all of the bottles shattered. And as he was like laying on the ground, luckily he wasn't seriously hurt. A car came from behind him, and the car's headlights lit up the crack that just caused him to see it. So then that was like the aha moment of like, okay, now I can see the crack. What if I put headlights on my board? So then he was kind of chasing that, and then I joined the team. Long story short, it didn't work out with Drew, so he left the company in 2015, and that's when me and my business partner Kyle took over the company. So like I said, I didn't start the company, but I kind of just stuck around, and then became a bigger part of it a couple years in.
I think that's a really interesting thing, because like I've really strong more and more day to day. I think life is that kind of butterfly effect of things that happen make like a spark and stuff happen. So that crack or that event made this journey, and it's such a weird thing that this one single event created Shredlights. And like I say, do you feel like with the whole kind of, you say kind of weaseling in the company, is that because you feel like there's a true belief in the company which made you want to get involved, which made you want to get involved more and more and expand it and really believe in it? And is that why do you think Shredlights as a brand is so involved in the community, because it's about, you recognize the passion for supporting what the message is about, because it's opened up a whole nother demographic of riding for people. And I think with the
Yeah,
concept of Shredlights, for sure.
I think it's definitely evolved. I think at the beginning it was a fun idea and I wanted them personally, but it's grown a lot. I think, yeah, and I've always had a ton of faith in the potential of Shredlights, and I think it was always like, oh, I think people might want these. And then in like 2016, 17, once, we started selling more lights and people would reach out and talk about how their wife now lets them ride at night because they have Shred lights and they feel so much safer, and really starting to share their stories. Like every email, even to this day, that we get where someone shares like how Shred lights have impacted their life, it's just amazing. And I think it really inspires me. I get goosebumps even just talking about it. Like it's so cool to hear that we are genuinely making an impact. And we take a lot of pride in our product and what we do. And I think the same people that have shared their stories have also been critical of the product and of our actions when they need to be, and they've helped make Shredlights what it is. So we really try and listen and always take into consideration what everyone wants and when the product's not working right. So I think like the lights we have today are a culmination of our hard work, but also a ton of feedback that people were willing to share, and willingness to work with us and give us another chance. So it's really,
to be honest, like I said, as a backseat looking in to see the evolution. I've been in the scene for 5 years at this point and seen things change in that short time. I think, from me personally, as a customer, you guys, I have a lot of respect for you guys because you are very open to take that feedback and you are very open to compare with other products. So many times where you're like, there's a lot of companies in the community which are like, nothing else exists, this is the only thing and we're the best, and that's fine. But you're like, here's what it is, this is our product. And you've done comparison videos before where you're like, here's our product, here's a competitor, this is what we charge, this is what they charge, and this is it. And then you make the decision. I think that transparency is really respectable, because it's not just like alienate the competition, it's embracing that and being better. And I think that's really amicable seeing that.
Yeah, and I think like that's at the end of the day, when people say, hey, Shred lights suck, here's my lights, I love seeing that, because that means that people are taking night riding safety seriously. And I get that not everyone wants to buy the pre-made product. People love to make their own stuff, but the most important thing that really is our mission is to make sure people aren't just riding in at night with no lights, or that they're afraid to ride at night. And whether they use Shred lights or any other lights, like, we just want to let people know that, like, one, if you are going to ride at night, it's super important that you use some sort of light, because if you look at the statistics of like bicyclist accidents, like over half of them happen at night. And, if you just think about it logically, like, it's way more dangerous. So it's just really important that, people use lights at night. And the second thing is that night riding offers so many great opportunities. Like during the day, it can be really hot, but mostly it's really crowded. A lot of the roads and paths are a lot more crowded. So if you just kind of wait for everything to settle down and go out for a night ride, that's when you can really unleash the full power of your e-skate, because you have these empty roads now, and the areas that are typically really busy are a lot more empty now. So I think like that was kind of like the second layer that we discovered. Like at first it was, okay, don't get hit by a car, make sure you're being seen. But then as we started to ride at night more and more, and during the day, it was like, oh, wow, this is like a whole different vibe. And, night rides are just really fun in their own way. Yeah.
So it's a totally different ground. Like I said, day ride, night riding, it's a unlocked a whole another opportunity for people, right? But I want to kind of bring it back to kind of grassroots a bit, because I think it's really good already to know more about yourself, alongside with Shredlights. And done a bit of digging. This video is sick. This one, this video, and I, as a SSX fanboy, this is the sickest video, and this is a sick video.
Nice. Yeah, this is fun. We were in like a Red Bull snowboarding competition. That was when I was at SDSU.
Yeah, that's a sick video. I did something similar when I was trying to do one for my partner for like a tramp video, but ability, like I said, I don't think you reckon, like, people know about it. Like your ability on on a plank of wood is pretty good. And like, there's some sick ability, and this is a sick
Yeah, this is
concept
my.
idea.
I went to. I got a degree in film and television.
Mm.
This is one of my classmates, Tommy. Shout out Tommy
Mm.
Lights. He's super good at After Effects and Premiere, so he did all the editing on this. So yeah, he killed it with the concept. This is a cool competition. It was a Red Bull snowboarding video competition, and we had to produce a video every 2 weeks. So we made like 4 of these, all different themes, and we were able to get this video shot and edited within 2 weeks. So it was a really fun contest to be a part of.
Yeah, it's such a cool bit. And like I said, like looking at like this is like nailing stuff like this is gnarly, man.
That was my first backflip on a snowboard ever.
Oh, do you know one thing I was going to say? When I was watching a lot of stuff and learning obviously a bit more about the history of yourself and like how we come to this point now, do you think that with Shredlights, like obviously, you know, we talk about boards, obviously my channel's mostly about boards of that, but like more stuff with using the adaptation of Shredlights, because I've used mine camping and stuff like that. It's all these extra things you don't think of, you use more and more.
Yeah, I mean, we always think about that, and it's definitely cool. But I think if there's one thing we've learned, you know, you have to really focus. And I think making great products for a specific group of people is really what shows to be the best. I think that's why we've become so popular in e-skate, is we're the only ones like really putting a lot of time and effort and money into making, you know, a light specifically for electric skateboards. So I think as you start to dilute that and try and go too wide, it becomes a lot harder to succeed. And, you know, we are a startup. I think, you know, sometimes people think we're a lot bigger than we are, which, you know, is cool sometimes, but also like we are a startup. You know, we never took any big investment. We've grown this thing from $0 in the bank account, you know, to funding all this R&D on the new project. And it's been really tough. So that being said, like we don't have unlimited resources, so we have to really focus and, you know, essentially hit a home run every product release. So, you know, because
that's the thing. I think the biggest strength of Shredlights, obviously products are great, and then but the it's a bit like kind of the Lego thing, isn't it? It's like the system, but the Shredlight system with the compatibility with all your products, stuff like that. Well, is it a flip-lock? Am I saying it right? With the
S-lock.
The S-lock system.
Yep.
The S-lock system, like that was because I remember I said, like, as a customer, I had the first product where you looped round your product with the rubber and stuff like that. That innovation and being able to switch between everything is like, even like everything it's a standard. Like everything I have has some kind of amount to it because of, you know, just the compatibility of that. Like that I think for me, that's the biggest innovation that you guys have had. Obviously things are evolving all the time, but having that ecosystem where as a customer, you can have 1 or 2 lights and you have different PEVs, that is just such a revolutionary concept of that.
Yeah. And do you want to know the cool thing is that idea, this whole concept came from a customer. So in like 2018, we had the high beam, which is the light, you know, it's stretched over that you're talking about. And we were only, you know, making them for skateboards. And a customer emailed us and he made attachment to go to the GoPro mount. So he made the very first action mount and sent us an email, and he was like, "Hey, I love using this light on my helmet." And we were just like, "That's a great idea. Like, why aren't we doing that or thinking about that?" So, you know, that idea really came from a customer, and then we really just started building on that of like, okay, can you know, use it on a bike and on a backpack, on a one wheel, all these different places, you know, beyond just a helmet even. So that's kind of where we came from. And that was all started, you know, the seed was planted from a customer.
It's amazing. Like I said, the feedback is great. And I think that's why, you know, as an observer going in, I think that's why Shredlights have done so well. It's because you're like, this is what we've done, this is what we're evolving and trying new stuff all the time from people's experience. And do you reckon that's kind of like the return investment of like embracing the community, sponsoring events and getting involved with these group rides? Because it's like, I've tried it this way and you go, well, I really like that, or I don't. That could be, it gives opportunity of using a product in all different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been extremely beneficial. And when we design a product, we sit here and we have a whiteboard and we think about what are the constraints. What is the minimum battery life that people need? What boards does it need to fit on? We have to kind of make all these assumptions. So it's super helpful when we can just talk to riders and be like, hey, how do you want this to work? Um, we've learned a lot about how to ask questions. The class of like if you ask someone what kind of car they want, they're going to say a Ferrari, but they won't
Yeah.
buy one. So you have to
Yeah.
figure out like how to get the information you need without, you can't always ask directly. So just doing, more surveying and just asking people, but also a lot of people just send us emails with, hey, you guys should do this, you should do that, and just storing all of that. So we have like a database where like, if people send us the suggestion, pretty much no matter what it is, we store that. And when we say that, like we mean it, like we store it, we may never do anything about it, but like we value
Open to all ideas at all times, basically. Yeah,
exactly.
we're welcoming the feedback.
Because you never know when it's going to come up. All of a sudden, we might be like, oh, you know, should this product have this feature? And like, oh, wait, someone I think recommended a similar feature. Okay, let's dig up that email and see. And then it can actually be super helpful to us when we're designing this stuff.
Sure. Obviously, with the next evolution, let's obviously talk about the incorporation of the new R1 Plus and the SL300 Plus. Is the kind of goal now incorporating kind of the hands-free Bluetooth ecosystem even more now? Because I think as an observer going in, obviously I've got these on my desk. I need to work on these. The FX, yeah. Is it about making, obviously with the ecosystem of moving things around, but now you've got the ability of having motion detected lights and all these other features, that kind of like a new way of incorporating ecosystem in a whole different way now?
Yeah, I think, S-Lock set the stage for people to have more than one or two or three lights. Some people might ride with 7 or 8 lights because you think, if you got 2 headlights, 2 taillights, 2 FX, there's 6 lights on your board, plus 1 R1 on your helmet, and then an SL1000. That's ultimate night riding kit, right? And that's 8 lights. So S-Lock really set the foundation to like have a lot of lights. So what Bluetooth does, it really follows up on making having that many lights so much more convenient. Because now when you have 6 or 7 lights, it's a pain in the ass to turn them all on and off.
Yeah.
And change the modes and see which lights have how much battery. So, Bluetooth and Shredlights Plus really kind of just enhance the experience of S-Lock, because now you can go and use your lights on all this different stuff, and it's way more convenient. And so when we created the app, we have it so you can set it up in groups, and you can create groups for different vehicles. So again, this is just building on.
I didn't even realize that until I clicked on this. I didn't realize that the group sync was the thing. That is amazing. I didn't know you guys had that.
Yep. So they flash together. And then, I think a really cool use case will be like a parent, if they're riding with their kids, the parent can control their 5 lights and their kids' 5 lights all from their phone, and then put them in 2 different groups. So I could have like my lights in one group and then my kids' lights in another group. And then now I don't need to go to my kid and turn on all of his lights or tell him to turn his lights on or see how much battery his lights have. I can just open up from my phone and check on all the status of everything, turn them on. I can make sure his rear lights are on flashing so he gets seen. I can turn my lights on, and it's just like a control hub. And with that group organization, you can separate, between different vehicles. And again, it's like if you're going to ride with a buddy and you have 2 boards and you got Shred lights on both, then you can just separate. So his lights flash and sync and your lights flash and sync, or his can turn off, but then yours don't. You can kind of
it's all these creative ways that people use the product in unique ways. Because you say about, like I said, I didn't realize that it was a feature, because this is another thing I've learned on these things. I don't say I know everything, but the whole group sync, I know. Yeah, but I'm when we did a group ride actually on the weekend, we were syncing our JBLs, all our audio. So this is another way you can do it going forward. But like for me as well, you've also got the freedom with the SOFX, you can you got the whole color scheme as well now through the app, because you only can program so much. So I think it'd be interesting. For me, I don't know what it's obviously as an owner, how people are going to use these in such unique, interesting. I'm going camping to a festival in 3 weeks. I'm taking these to mount all over my tent, and that's what I'm going to use.
I actually just did a video that we did an intro to speed in LA, and it was at night, and we had our tent there, and I just brought like 5 FX with the magnetic mounts, and I put them all around the tent, and then with one button I can light up the whole tent. So I gotta edit that video, but I'll post it soon so you can see. But yeah, they're super useful for all these other things, and I think that's the difference between like S-Lock versus other lights that bolt onto your board. Is like you can't really go take your bolt-on lights camping, or the Shredlight, you just pop it off and now it's just like a good flashlight that you can use anywhere.
I just want to say just one small thing. Transparency, and like I said, you're always open with the feedback of that. I was really concerned with the Maglock when I first saw it, the magnetic ones. I was thinking, it's going to pop off and that stuff. When we met at EskatCon, I was like, with this I was like, Jesus, like it's so strong, like with the magnetic mounts.
Yeah,
it was so impressed with that. Like with the magnetic mounts, it was like another way of using everything.
That's another cool story. So again, that was an idea that came from a customer. Like literally, like half of our ideas like come from customers, and obviously they give us consent to use them, and people love to see their ideas come to life. But basically, I just knew that Shredlights on the one wheel could be better from my experience and from some of the reviews we got. So I decided to investigate it last summer, and I started interviewing one wheel riders, and I scheduled 5 video interviews, and basically 2 of the 5 guys said they made their own magnetic mounts. So nice. I was like, okay, if 40% of people are saying they use them, then like we got to be honest with them here. So they sent me a link to their magnets. I made my own prototypes, and we just started researching how to do it. And basically with the magnetic mount, or any magnets for that matter, if you sandwich it between 2 pieces of metal, it makes the magnet way stronger. So that's why if you look at the magnetic mount, you'll see there's a sticky mount, and then there's a piece of steel, and then the magnets. So when we tested it and we just had just the magnets on the sticky mount, it was like 3 times stronger with the steel plate behind it. So that's why they feel so strong. So it was like the customers gave us this idea, and when I tested the magnets they had, they weren't nearly that strong. So that was kind of V1 proof of concept, and it was like, all right, if we're really going to make the Shredlight style, it has to be a lot stronger than this. So then we did some research and kind of learned that and made some more prototypes, and I was like, all right, now this is acceptable to put out there.
I think it was cool when I was looking back while you was going for the magnetic mount journey element. It was really cool to watch because, like I say, with the transparency, especially from yourself, like you're very transparent when you show how excited you are with a new product. When you was like, I've learned so much more about magnets, and I can see they do this, and this is what's happening, and it's infectious, and it's great to see, and it's good to see that honesty and transparency. I think there's this element of fear with some companies where that shows that vulnerability, being like, well, like I said before in the interview, where I was saying about other products, and you saying I've learned more about this, and this is why, and saying, look, we've done this. I think it's really good as a consumer to see, to be like, we did this didn't work, and we've learned from it, and we've done that, because it's like it has faith as a consumer, knowing that it's been tested and this is what's worked and this is what hasn't worked. So it's really cool to see that evolution. And like I said, once again, taking the feedback from the customer, seeing what they like and how they use it. So you're saying about the one wheel, I just want to throw out there, what is, and don't make this bias now, I'm going to isolate half your customers, but what is your go-to ride? Is it the one wheel? Is it the board? Is it bike? What is your preference for a PEV?
It definitely depends. I mean, if I'm going to grab lunch, I'll usually take the one wheel just because I'm going to be going in somewhere, so it's easy to stow away and it's easier to carry. But definitely group rides, I prefer an e-skate. I know I constantly have different ones that I'm testing.
Mounting things too, yeah.
But lately I've been riding the Atlas Pro a lot. But yeah, if we're doing a group ride with ST e-skate, 10 miles or more, the one wheel isn't my choice. I mean, it's not fast enough to keep up, and it just gets old after 10 miles. So I like one wheel for quick rides, and it's fun to go off road and stuff. But definitely e-skate for longer rides, and then I got the Super 73, so riding that a little bit too. But yeah, it depends. I mean, I try and mix it up, and then I still love to just skate. So I still go to skate park like at least once a week, and I love to just normal skate as well.
Because I think, like I said, it's interesting to see because we had Fabi on the channel a little while ago, and obviously he's a proficient skater as well. So
yeah, he's really good at skating.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't know that how many world records he had actually as well. That's insane. But it's I think what I find really humbling about this is, like, say, as a skater foundation, like the fundamentals and like how things evolve. Like it's mad. It's mad to look at like the journey for everything. And
yeah, now I got a real white backdrop instead of the mattress. I used a mattress in my room.
Is that the mattress? Like, I'm going to pause this now.
Yeah. Let's see.
Let's see if we can grab it.
There it is.
There it is.
Now I got a real white backdrop.
I to be honest, I said I've noticed you are very much a perfectionist with your product, and when you're advertising, you do. Yeah, and
old coolest
old school logo.
Like I get to learn and practice so much. It's like one giant project that just keeps challenging me. So I think that's why I love doing what I get to do.
I think that's such a humbling logo. I think as a grassroots, the idea around Shredlights, I think that's such an old school.
The OG logo right there.
For sure, man. Humbling begins. I think that's really quite special.
Yeah. Have you seen? I noticed you're pulling my Instagram up a lot, but you should check out on my YouTube channel. I used to do vlogs, and I have a lot of behind the scenes of Shredlights back in the day in like 2018. They're longer forms. Definitely not.
I'll let you dig that up, and I'll pull something up. So in the meantime, just
you should check those out in the meantime.
I'm this for me, just because respect to guys. This is my favorite Shredlights video, and it's not a Shredlights video with Justin.
Oh this is
sick. Oh my god, it's beautiful. I love this kind of stuff.
Yeah. So, what is your kind of favorite video to watch? Is it more of like a cool edit like this, or more instructional, informational? What's your kind of favorite?
Well, that's the thing. It's two demographics, isn't it? For example, as a customer, I will know how to mount everything. But for me, this is chasing that feeling, chasing that experience. So for me as an individual, this was just like, I want to go and shred at night with these lights. This is what I need it for. Like that. Come on, man! Look at that. I think as night riding, that's what defines night riding for me. Everyone else is going to bed. Like, it's like being in the shadows. This is my passion. This is my hobby, and this is where I can be myself in peace with that night riding, and with to the start thing with Shredlights. This is how you do it. This is how it's for. And like that is such a beautiful concept. Like I said, I do group rides in London based around night riding because it's another demographic. It's just sharing that another. And I don't know. Like I said, I know. So your demographic. Your market. I don't know anyone else who's doing what you guys do to that level of degree with, with your product. Like, so that's such a simple thing. Like with I don't know who does your unboxing, your boxes, but your boxes are nice. Like, do you know what I mean? How many things come in just a plain cardboard box with no interest in them at all?
No, I'm glad I design all of our packaging. We've definitely gotten better at it over the years, but I just feel like I want to put my touch on everything, and like we try not to take ourselves so serious. Where it's like we want to make stuff fun and like easy. Like this is kind of where our prices come from. We know we have higher prices, but like you're gonna be able to get a hold of us. We're never gonna outsource customer support to a different country just because it's cheaper, or give you some AI chatbot. Like if you email Shredlights, like you're gonna hear back from a Shredlights employee human within a couple days, and we're never gonna like try and cut costs and take that elsewhere. And same with like the packaging. This packaging could be a lot cheaper if it was plainer, but it's like, dude, I just bought some like fun lights. Like I bought lights for my skateboard. Like this is a fun thing, and we try not to take ourselves too seriously. So every touch point, I want to get that across of like, these are fun. Like this is to make your night rides more fun. You're not buying like, I don't know,
LED, whatever, knocked off Amazon light.
Kind of like enhance the experience. So every part of it should be fun and like exciting instead of, just like, oh, they tried to make the cheapest possible version. And so that's where like a lot of times people are like just not a good fit for us, and they just, aren't fit, they shouldn't be a Shredlights customer because they're just looking for the lowest cost option, and then it's like, holy shit, those are so expensive. And it's like, that's all good. Like, we're not for everyone. Like, we are for these people that really want this tailored solution, and they want the nice packaging, and they want the good warranty, and they want the best. And I totally respect if people want just cheaper option, and if you're not riding the night that often, like, I totally understand that you probably don't want to drop as much money. You just need something. But again, I encourage you to have some sort of light, and we don't really have, a lower priced option. So I totally get it. It's like, I take offense when people use other lights or say that our lights are too high.
Well, you even compare it, don't you? You openly say this is our competition. This is what you get for it. But like I said, I feel like you're always digging to see what the customer likes or what they think. Even just now, he's asking about what do you prefer in marketing? Do you prefer this or prefer that? And it's interesting. It's really good, and it shows the passion. It shows like the knowledge gathering. Like, how do you like? What do you like? What can we improve on? I think from me, my perspective looking in, yes, Shredlights are higher priced, but the thing is, always support, and it's a great product and it's compatible. I think as a feedback from me, just as a consumer, I think you guys don't advertise enough how good you are in supporting people when things hits the fan, when things don't work. And because all the time there's so many people like, oh, my lights don't work, and then they've contacted and they've had that support. It's the almost like one light forever in a way, I'm saying, like, people it's not the guarantee forever. You know what I mean? I'm not saying like you buy a light and you could just smack up the wall, it's gonna be fine, but like, think about how I think it's Escape PVs are such a unique demographic where you're testing a product in such a unique way. You're doing 30, 40 miles an hour, or you might be on dirt, or you might be smacking it, doing jumps or whatever it is. But the robustness, and I think when you buy a Shredlights product, you are buying that support, and you have that. They've got you. You guys represent. You got the backs, and I don't think you guys advertise that enough, because it's only through feedback we speak to other people or myself. I've had stuff go wrong, and I like to think just because as a consumer, I don't say like I'm a content guy, it makes any difference at all. You guys have so many stories where people have said, oh, my light's not working. And I said, I'll just reach out to them. And within 48 hours, it's like, we'll sort you out. Don't worry, it's okay. And I think that validates the cost so much more, because when you buy a product from Shredlights, you've got their back. And I think that's what people don't see until things go wrong. I think, that'd be great to see.
Yeah, I think we definitely could. And Andrew is definitely famous now. He gets called out all the time. He does a great job. And I think that's great feedback. I definitely agree that it's not as upfront. We lead with all the features and cool factor, but I think the support is really what gets people to stick around. And I think like that's kind of our philosophy, is like, once someone trusts us and gives us their money, then like we feel an obligation to like provide a long-term good experience, not just like, all right, we got your money, here's your lights, we're done. It's like, no,
for sure.
Because like when it comes down to it, like, people are buying lights to make their night rides safer. So if their light doesn't work, like, now they're putting their safety at risk, and they originally, put their faith in Shredlights by giving us their money. So that's where it's like, okay, let's make this right. Like, how can we get you another light? Because these aren't serving the purpose that you bought them for. And, I think that's one of the main benefits of like bootstrapping the company. I have some other friends that have companies, and, if you raise money, a lot of investors look at these warranty costs and the time it takes to answer all these emails every day. And they're like, we could increase profits, if you didn't do all this. But I think that's the sweet part about owning the company ourselves and not having these investors, is we can do it our way and prioritize these things because it's what's right. And we're fine if that means we make a little less money, but we can feel good about what we're doing here.
Yeah. So we've only got so much time, and I feel like we're throwing out, it's going to have to fire around because we want to get so much out of this much again. First, I want to shout out to Eastgate Unity. Hope you're doing well, brother. I know you've been having a bit of a night. I'm a big advocate as well for Shredlights as well. And I think, like I said,
Fred just came out and stayed at my house like a month ago, 2 months ago.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. He didn't have one leg at that point, did he? Bless him.
Yeah, he had 2 legs then.
Yeah, for sure. So I just want to throw out a couple of fire things, guys. If you've got any questions, please fire them out because we ain't got much time. We're trying to get as much out as possible. 2 things. I'm going to throw one personal one in. When's the Shred Saber coming out? When's that coming out? From me, Skatecon.
That is, yeah, I can give you a little sneak peek. That's been on the back burner. I've been just dialing in all the stuff with the 300 plus. So,
yep.
Focus has been elsewhere, but
just
have a little jank prototype that I made.
What? That's sick. Oh man, that is so cool.
So this is an existing product. I didn't make this. I just bought it.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a LED light in here and just lights up this tube. And then I put the GoPro mount on top. So you basically put your 360 up here. And this is kind of just proof of concept. And the footage stitches around the light perfectly. And it actually makes your footage really good. So if you're trying to vlog, see that.
Bro, like me and Fred is
so if you're trying to vlog, this actually provides really good light on your face.
So you just switch and then you go through that and you do
the 360 cameras are pretty bad in low light. So having this light right here, if you're trying to narrate your video, it actually provides a lot of great light and it stitches around it perfectly.
That's cool. So just a little bit of concept for people who are watching, you don't worry. So me, Eric, and you guys are talking. We did the group ride at Vegas and was people running around with beams of light, and it was we need to make Eric was we need to make a light on a bowl, and I said mate, you've got to call it the Shred Saber, and it'd be running around. It'd be so cool.
I know. Yeah, we'll get to it. It's just a matter of time, but
it's interesting to say you've looked at that, because like I said, that's just a one-off. We're talking for a minute and you're yeah, I like that. Let's definitely talk about. Right, so I'm going to fire in because I know you've got a meeting coming up. My next one I want to ask is, what do you want future of Shredlights to be going forward? Obviously, for me, I can see it's about extending the ecosystem with wireless Bluetooth technology and then uniting all your products you have currently to expand on other riding opportunities. So what do you feel like the next stage is for Shredlights?
Yeah, definitely the wireless lights, and getting, the convenience that I was talking about earlier there for all of our products. That's definitely in the near future. So next up, we got the SL1000 Plus, which will be the last Bluetooth upgrade that we'll be making. And then basically we'll have our whole lineup of lights compatible with Bluetooth. So then you can go out with the full kit. And then I think in the next few years, when I think about Shredlights, I really want to expand our range of products. I think right now, we still have kind of limited options. So this would be, more mounts. But also I think with the new Shredlights Plus Bluetooth lights, the price is going up. So I really want to try and come out with something that is lower cost and more entry level. And that would be, stripping down some of the features. So kind of the working concept for that would be a light that screws onto your board, and it would not have S-Lock. It would just permanently go on. And you would just have one headlight, one rear light, and they would basically be more, be seen lights. And if you go on Amazon and look at electric skateboard lights, there's a lot of these, but they just break and fall off. So we'd kind of make it Shredlight style, and it's still
robust.
It just bring robust and durability that we're known for to a lower cost kind of entry level product. I think that would be really cool to help bring it more, make it more accessible for people to get into Shredlights, and get the price down there. And then I think with the lights that we're coming out with right now, to me, it's kind of the final evolution of this form factor, video.
Well, it's a restriction of space, isn't it? Because then you start getting wheel by and it changes everything.
And it's there's really, we've done it with this. So it's exciting because it's we really made the best version of this light. And so now that we got these out, it's really exciting because I think we can move on to totally different stuff. And I think that's where the Shred Saber, wearable stuff, helmet lights, we can really now
watch your space, basically. Yeah, watch your space, and keep throwing in the ideas because we're listening, basically, as well.
Yeah. So I think, now that we got these out, it's just make sure all of these are working right and we can keep them in stock and everything. But now it frees us up to move on to totally different stuff. So that's really exciting to me to kind of grow the brand. Because right now, Shredlights, are still kind of known as like this light, and there's different models of it. And the FX helped kind of branch that a little bit. But I think, products like the Shred Saber, people wouldn't see coming. And I think when I think about Shredlights in a few years, I want it to be more of a brand where you can go to our site and browse around and figure out which lights you want, but you're not going to buy all of them. You're going to figure out which ones are best for you.
Yeah.
And we can kind of have this like product range more than just a few.
I was going to throw in two last things. I said we're running out of time, so I'm throwing the questions, and I get really excited. So just two things on what you just said there. First, what I want to say is like it reminds me of like those wearable tops that people wear for like festivals and lights like that. It'd be cool to see like looking at way out there kind of stuff and like wearable tech and using that. Like I said, with that, with your lights, it's giving you a foundation to look in using those lessons, supplying so many different things. I just want to highlight one thing because we've run out of time. We're actually over time actually, but I'm going to do a little bit more.
I got like 5 minutes.
With obviously why are we cutting things down to a shorter, less than an hour interview? Do you want to talk about what you're working on next, the next interview you're doing with behind the scenes?
Yes, it's the Android. We are working on the app. I know a ton of people are asking about it and waiting for it. So my meeting in 10 minutes is reviewing the next sprint that we got done on the Android app. So it's getting there. We should be able to get a version out later this month. So I'm really excited about that. Again, just like making Shredlights Plus accessible to more people. We know that not everyone has an iPhone. So it's been really tough to just keep telling people like, sorry, we don't have the app. Yeah. So I think I'm really excited to finally just be like, yes, we have the app. Now you can download it. Here's a link. So that's going to be really exciting. And yeah, so Android app coming soon, working on it, in my next meeting. And yeah, I mean, it's been such a cool experience, like building an app, like just for like,
it's another thing. Like I said, magnets and now the apps, it's like learning so much.
Getting to learn so much. And like, in terms of my career, who knows what I'll do, if I'll do Shredlights forever or have other jobs down the road. But I think it's just like really exciting and fun to like see how an app works. Now I know how Bluetooth signals work. And like, I was just thinking about this, like, as we launched the product yesterday, it's like, dude, we made a network of lights that all communicate wirelessly on their own and they all talk to each other. You can connect 12 of them. Like, this is stuff that like Philips, did for home, like a lot bigger companies have done. And we're like, did it super scrappy and it took longer, but like it works super well. And I've been using the Bluetooth lights now for like almost a year, just testing them. And I don't know, I'm really proud of it. I think like Shredlights have always been high quality, but at the end of the day, it's like, it's a flashlight that's durable and it fits on your board. But now I'm like, dude, we got like smart lights. They got a brake feature. It detects your motion. Like they all talk to each other without the app. Now I think it's like really just elevated what Shredlights is to a whole nother level.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, I'm just going to go to a closing statement from me. I'll leave it to you after saying anything you want to talk about before we finish. But like I said, it's exciting that the hard work and the dedication and all these innovations with the locks, the Bluetooth, the network and stuff, who knows what we're going to be like, next year or a year and a half in a way, it's going to be crazy. But like I said, closing statements, is there anything you want to highlight or talk about before we leave you on the stream today, mate?
Just thank you to you for having me on, and thanks for, everything you do and all the support you've given Shredlights and the whole community. It was really awesome to see you out at Eastgate Con and get to meet you in person and stuff. So I've definitely, keep doing what you're doing. I think it's really motivating, and don't worry about the views and the likes and the metrics and stuff. Like all it takes is one person to watch one of your videos and then get inspired to go skate, and you never know how much of a positive impact you're having. And I think in the social media age, it's really easy to be like, oh, I'm only getting this much traction and I always do this too. But it's like making an impact on one person is huge, and I think your videos are really genuine, and just keep it up.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that a lot. I really do. Like I said, for me, the grind is hard. But like I said, I'm very appreciative. The audience, everyone is watching, people watch us later. So I'm very appreciative. And the reason why I'm so warm towards Shredlights is you guys impact in the community, and giving people opportunity to make a difference in their life and using your tools. So that's why I've always been such a great advocate for Shredlights, because you have people's back when shit hits a fan, and you support the community massively. Double bubble from me. But I will wrap that up. Like I said, Eric, it's one of the things I've always wanted to do, have you on the channel. So thank you for spending your time with me today. It's an absolute honor. It's been great. See, your impact in the community has been amazing, and your team. So you've got a great team, great community, and keep doing amazing stuff. So got great support from me. But I'll wrap that up. Go on, mate.
That's say thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that, and I think that was something we didn't really touch on is the Shredlights team. I am the face, so I am in all the videos and stuff. And a lot of people always credit Shredlights to Eric, but there is a team that helps make this happen. I definitely don't do this alone. So I think the unsung heroes are definitely the rest of the Shredlights team that's helped make all this stuff happen. And just because I'm the only ones in the videos doesn't mean I'm doing it all alone. So definitely a great team, and I'm super appreciative to have the crew we got here.
What I'm gonna do is give you some homework. Then I want to see a Shredlights team video. Make that as your
Yeah.
homework, bro. That's a good idea.
Yeah, we just
how does everyone use everything? Yeah.
Last night, to celebrate the launch of the new products, we went out to dinner, and then we went to the roller rink and did some roller skating.
Oh yeah.
So we get to have fun too. It's not all work.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, thank you so much for everyone watching. I'll let Eric crack on, and I'll give him some downtime before his next meeting. Man works hard.
And the Android app.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching.
Later,
thank you for engagement, and you guys take care. I'll see you guys. Oh, one last thing. Next week, sneak peek if you're here the whole way. Tomorrow, I'm going to Switzerland to film with Entourage. It's going to be sick. I can't wait. So that's going to be cool. So we've got exclusive stuff coming up. But anyway, I'll see you guys later. Take care. Peace. I'll give it a second.